¿Qué pedo,
¿Ya? ¿Listo?
Sí, güey, llega el invitado.
Va.
¿Qué onda? Bienvenidos otra vez a OximoRon. Digo, ya no decimos los episodios porque luego tenemos un
Ahora de uno para otro, ¿no?
Sí, entonces bueno, este episodio es la segunda toma. Digo, no vamos a decir por qué la primera no salió, pero tiene que ver con que el invitado pudo estar público. Pero no podemos decir eso, ¿no? No lo podemos exponer. No, lo especial que tiene este episodio es que va a ser en inglés. Para mí, obviamente, no es mi primer idioma y la verdad no lo domino muy bien. Me estoy curando en salud porque, pues, obviamente, van a decir, ay, güey, la pronunció mal, lo conjugó mal, pues sí,
Pues se va a la verga.
Sí, exactamente. Y
En español hablamos bien, cabrón.
Sí, güey. No, es que yo hubiera dicho esta forma en inglés. Sí, ya sabemos que ustedes saben más inglés que yo, que ya. Entonces, diciendo esto, pues la neta no me importa. Entonces ya voy a hacer el cambio a inglés. Entonces, pues espero y me entienda, ¿no?
Adelante, suerte.
Sí. Corte. So yeah, welcome.
Welcome to
Again.
Thank you.
For the
Thank
second
you.
time to the retake.
Second time's a charm.
Yeah, I don't know if you understand what I said in Spanish.
I do.
Yeah. So
Good enough.
The first phrase that I said, or the first 30 seconds.
I have no idea.
No, you didn't understand it.
I have the memory of a squirrel. I can't remember what you said.
So yeah,
Even if I
before.
did
You don't know what your nuts are?
Oh, that was my wife.
Call me.
in her necklace, right?
Yeah. She shows it to me every once in a while.
So yeah,
Oh, you bitch.
so I'm going to make the introduction of you.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have here. Will be a very interesting episode because we have the person who bite the bat on Wu-Tang. So he's the one who spread the COVID-19, right?
Hey.
So that's why this is a special episode for him. No, I'm kidding. He's Manny Pacquiao.
Hey.
Oh.
I've been Manny Pacquiao.
No, yeah, to be serious, he is Jackie Chan.
That's pretty much a list of all racial slurs.
There you go.
Possibly
We'll
the next hour.
We'll take half an hour.
William.
We're gonna
no,
get fucking canceled after this.
Yeah, to make the proper introduction, he is my former
Boss.
Former.
But yeah, former.
former with F.
Yes.
Jefe,
Boss.
and so yeah, this is the retake, and the first episode with you, we talk about a lot. No, we talk a lot about. We have a lot of topics.
Sure.
So right now we're going to put it in a simple way, way, right?
Sure.
So let's start with who is Boo.
All right.
Boo transsexual.
Well, that's kind of all I am. Thank you very much for having me. I've loved my time here.
Thank you.
No, so I'm Vu. I'm super honored to be here. The fact that you let me come back again means you have very poor choice and decision-making skills.
We
Probably
would
a
have
filler.
many guests on it.
The homeless guy couldn't make it.
You're
So,
throwing cats at everybody, so.
yeah. But yeah, hey, I'm Vu, and
Your last name?
Tran. I'm Vu Tran. And
Now you get the joke.
now they get the joke.
Yeah, exactly.
My wife gets the joke every night. I'm Vu. A little bit about me. I'm Vietnamese, born in Vietnam, and my family immigrated to the U.S. in 1979. I was only 3 months old when my family escaped to Vietnam. We jumped in a little tiny boat. Like a lot of other Vietnamese families, my story is not really that special because there were millions of Vietnamese that did this. But we escaped to Vietnam when the communists took over. And
What year?
we took off in 79. The communists took over in 75. And my family had been trying to escape for a while, unsuccessfully, but we finally did. We left Vietnam with really no direction, no real instructions, just kind of get the hell out of there. We knew that there was a refugee camp. He saved the wrong Vietnamese people. I was sitting there going, hey, but oh well. And we went out to sea with no real plans on getting anywhere, hoping that somebody would save us. And luckily for us, a Red Cross ship from, I think it was Switzerland.
Well,
So
was
that's
it just
annoying.
going when you guys left? There was no plan. There was no.
We were lied to.
Here's the logistics of the thing. And we're
Yeah.
gonna make it. No.
No, we
You
were
just-
lied to. We paid folks to help us escape, and they said, well, take this little boat, go out to sea, and you will meet a bigger boat, and they will take you to Malaysia, where the refugee camp was. Well, we went out there.
But when you did that, there were people who was with guns to not let the people go.
Right. The communists, the Viet Congs, they weren't too happy to know that, the people that they just conquered, they were escaping. And so people were caught all the time and being arrested and thrown in jail. So we snuck out in the middle of the night, heading out, no lights, into the ocean, and just believing this promise that there is this bigger ship. Well, we paid a lot of money, so of course that's what we expected.
We call it the coyotes.
See?
Yeah.
See. And it was 40 people in a 10-meter boat. And, because we were expecting to be picked up by a larger boat, no food, no extra water, we go out there in the middle of the night, nobody, nothing.
No ship.
Nothing. So for a couple of days, we were just waiting, and luckily the Red Cross ship found us.
But if you were in the middle of the ocean,
Mm-hmm. Because we wanted to get the hell out as
So
far
what
as
time did you
possible.
guys? How much time did it happen? Did it pass when you guys said, okay, there's no boat saving us?
I believe it was 3 days.
Wow, shit.
Yeah.
3 days pass. You're in the middle of the ocean. And you
No
just
water. My parents tell me the story of my sisters and brothers asking, hey, can we drink water? How come there's no water? I just want tea, something.
Yeah.
Kids didn't know any better. And so we get towed into Malaysia. Malaysia has a refugee camp, but the refugee camp in Malaysia wasn't anything nice. There was nothing. It was a chain link fence.
Mhm.
Okay, all you people here, you just stay there. And there's no food, nothing provided. And we were at the mercy of the charity of all these other countries. They would drop off supplies. My brothers and sisters went around asking for food. And,
so you were talking about like a concentration camp or something like that.
I see stories
For lack
about,
of a better word.
Yeah.
I see stories about these caravans, migration caravans, trying to get to the U.S. They come here and they just camp out, right? They're not given anything by the Mexican
But
government.
not to badmouth Malaysia, but do you think that the food or the supplies in that time, like in so many times in so many countries, it got wrongly distributed or the government kept it? By now, do you think that something like that happened?
I don't think so. I don't think it was. There was probably
So there's so
some
many people?
kind of corruption going on, but I think more that there were so many people escaping from Vietnam that
Okay.
there was no way the government, and Malaysia back then was not a rich country at all. So it's kind of like, can't give you a whole lot,
Exactly.
but we'll let you have a place to wait. And so we were there for 2 years, and we waited, and by the grace and charity of a gentleman in South Carolina, he supported our family, and we came over to the U.S. We landed in San Diego, and it was so nice that we never left.
This was 77, 78.
79, March 3rd, 79 is when we landed,
Okay.
and my family's been there ever since.
Okay, so you guys didn't go to South Carolina, you just went directly to
Yeah.
to
San
California.
Diego. Yeah.
Okay.
Our sponsor was from there, and I never got
You guys
a
never met
chance.
the guy.
Yeah, we never got a chance to actually
No,
personally thank him.
because we have.
Maynard,
Thank you so much.
come on in. I've always wanted.
And he
Yeah.
asked me for this money.
And I'm pretty much American. I grew up in the U.S., grew up in San Diego, went to school, went to San Diego State, graduated San Diego State, met my future mentor who at that time worked at IBM, hired me out of San Diego State, took me into IBM.
Sorry, but let me go back a little bit back. Once you guys came from Malaysia to California.
Yeah.
How old were you?
I was 2 when I landed.
You were 2 when you landed here in California.
Mm-hmm.
And the difference, because you guys, I'm guessing you guys never spoke a spot of English.
Nothing.
You guys were new in a country that was getting over the racial situation and everything.
Yeah.
So how do you guys got by? Do you guys, your parents first and foremost?
Sure.
And when you were growing up, do Asian people hang out with Asian people? Do Mexican people hang out? How was your mix? Was it difficult? Was it easy?
That's a great question. There's a couple of levels to that. There's the experience that my parents had and my uncles and aunts. We came over 9 adults with $50 between everybody, and that's it. Nobody spoke English. I grew up. We landed here. I went to school. I didn't speak English, so they put me in ESL, English as a second language.
Okay.
But there weren't Vietnamese people at that time, not a whole lot. And so they put me in with the Spanish-speaking kids. And so I learned Spanish before I learned English. Because that class,
By the way, here talking English and then you're telling me
this is
your
ESL
first
for
language
you.
is
So, and so that was my experience. There was racism against Asians, but I didn't think anything of it. They called us nips, gooks, Jackie Chan growing up and all that. And I'm like, okay, whatever, right? It's pretty normal to me. I figured, hey, everybody goes through this, right? Because there were a lot of other ethnic kids and everybody got called names.
Exactly.
And so...
Even white people.
And I thought, hey, that's cool, because then I made fun of everybody else too, calling everybody names. And that was my experience, and I thought, okay, it's just the way it is. My parents, they went to vocational school. They learned how to solder. They worked on like this crappy assembly line. We got welfare, but my parents, it was a bad thing to get welfare, and they worked as hard as they could to get off of it as fast as possible. And they put together enough money to open up a tiny little Asian store, not much bigger than this living room. And
what kind of store?
Asian. It wasn't even groceries. It was just kind of. They drove up to LA Chinatown, bought some Asian stuff,
like souvenirs or something like that.
like food items
and
things, and they brought it back to San Diego. Yeah, and it was like they didn't have enough for a full case of something. Let's see what the story that they tell us is. So Asians and Buddhists, we like incense, right?
Yeah.
And an incense, a bundle is 50 incense sticks.
I thought incest.
That only happens in your family. But yeah, they couldn't afford to buy the whole pack of 50, so they bought half, broke it apart, and sold like 5 at a time to people. And the shirt I'm wearing now is the name of the store, and we've been open now for 37 years. And we are the American dream, really, that America is really the land of opportunity if you're willing to work hard, take the punches, ignore all the shit that doesn't matter, and just do what you got to do. It can work.
I think this episode we're talking about a part that's very interesting for us as Mexicans.
Yeah.
Asian people are going to be watching this episode, and all of the ethnic groups that are going to be watching or hearing us. It's very interesting, and it's very important that this is the caso éxito, which is a case that it's a situation that's a successful situation that came upon in the United States. Why? a lot of people in the United States are saying, you guys are taking our jobs, you guys are taking our opportunities and shit. But nobody's willing to do what you guys did. Now, there's another situation that it's very interesting for me is that in a lot of migrating situations with a lot of families, either Mexican or American or European or whatever you call it, normally the parents don't give their kids an opportunity to study. You're going to dedicate yourself to the family business and that's it. If you get an education, it's going to be for yourself and with your money, etc. Yeah. In this case, this wasn't the case for you guys, or was it?
So my parents gave me an option: either go to school or go to work, or do both. Yeah. Right, and that's it. And so I worked full time. I went to school full time. And they paid me $40 a week, which I loved it. I didn't have any time to spend it, so I saved it all. But we were always working. I grew up in the grocery store. As for as long as I could remember. Right? And when I graduated with a computer degree, information decision systems, which is computer science light for those people who couldn't make it. Mm-hmm. They went into IS or MIS, and when I got that degree, my dad said, "Okay, you don't have to work in the family business. Go." And when I got a job at IBM, of course, they were like, "That's a huge company. Go." Wow. And so I left, and I just returned back 2 years ago. So after 20 years after college, I came back. So yeah. They always pushed us to either work hard or study hard. Mm-hmm. Most of the times, they expected us to do both.
Yeah. Because we're having a kid you said like less than 2 years old. You were in the middle of the sea. Yeah. And right now you're pursuing your dream when you were grown up. That's pretty fucking awesome. A lot of people are doing that in the States. Like you said, it's a land of opportunity if you put yourself together and you work hard. Yeah. But that's the cool part, that a lot of people think there's only one way, work. Yeah. And they leave the study part aside. In your case, that wasn't the case.
To be honest,
why did you want to study instead of fall in love with money?
Well, to be honest,
maybe you fell in love with money and you wanted to get more. That's why you studied.
That's actually what it was, right? And when I say I studied, I'm lying. Because I was a really shitty student.
You went to school.
Yeah, I went to school. I got a 2.0. Dude, yeah. I didn't get good at math until afterwards. So I started counting money, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I was a horrible student. Hated school. Really fucking hated school. Barely got by. Barely graduated. 2.0, C's make degrees. Woohoo. I'm out. Yeah. And it wasn't until I got into the real world where it's like, hey, I need to learn some shit to make me some money. Mm-hmm. And the good thing is I love money. And I found a mentor, luckily, who decided to give a chance to a young man who had a lot of energy but no focus. Mm-hmm. And so he pushed me, and I didn't know any better because my dad was a really tough dad. Right? He's a really tough guy. So he was always pushing me. So when I met this guy, I was like, okay, you know what? You don't yell at me as bad as my dad yells at me. So bring it on. Mm-hmm. And he brought me to IBM, took me around the world, showed me the ropes, gave me the opportunity. And,
wow,
luck.
So that was your first job with
Yeah, that was the first job outside of the family business. Uh-huh. And then I left that to join 3DR. And 3DR is really where I learned to be a leader, really learned what it meant to work for more than just yourself. Because up until that point, it was, Vu, you do this so you can have this. You do this so you can get here, climb up the ladder.
But how do you met with 3DR? What happened?
The old VP of sales worked with me at 3D at IBM. And he recommended me to the company to take over support and services. And that's what I thought I was going to be. Come in and, just take punches from customers and get yelled at all day. And I said, okay, that's all good. And it wasn't until I got here and I met the team and discovered what really my calling was really, that there are people here, there's an opportunity here, and it's more than just myself. We've talked about leadership before, and I think you asked me about when did I know I wanted to be a leader? Never. I was out for myself, and it wasn't until 3DR where I found people and something to lead, a worthwhile cause that required me to be more, to learn more, to do more, so that I can serve more.
So you think it was an obligation given, not an obligation taken? Being a leader?
True leadership is, I think, if I can say it, is really isn't about yourself. And I didn't have anybody to lead before.
Okay.
It's just me. And here, I found the same type of raw energy, that raw intelligence and desire that just wanted an opportunity.
Yeah, because when I first met you, you, for a lot of people there, you have like this tag of being a leader. So there's a difference between being the boss and being the leader.
Exactly.
Right? So I thought you already have a lot of experience leading people.
Yeah.
And right now I'm discovering that you were not, right? But I thought that you have it, how you call it, from nature, nato?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
a knack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought it was that way. So you're telling me that.
But what do you think he was a leader regarding all the leadership you saw before in your life, in working place, and your parents and everything?
He's
what do you think that
treatment with the way he was directing to people.
Okay.
He's put aside, I'm just your boss and do whatever I said. No, he changed that, and
he put the human element.
Yeah, exactly. He genuinely, he was asking you how you are, how you feel, So that for me was a shock, right? Because I had bosses that they.
Yeah, the thing is,
the people don't matter. Just give me numbers.
Yeah, because we're a number. Because you and I come from call center schools, where you just a number. It doesn't even matter. The thing that matters, that makes money, is the seat and the body and the person occupying that seat.
And you
doesn't
give
really
it
matter.
like that. So
You're just a number on a tag that comes here and checks in and checks out. Doesn't really matter who is it.
But
as long as it does 12 hours work, and that's the difference that makes sense from you.
Yeah.
That you put the human element in the equation, into the equation.
I think the only thing I really did different is that I cared. Like, I cared about you. I cared about the team. I believe that if I care about you and you are the best you, doesn't matter what number the company puts in front of you, we'll hit it.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you need help, I'll help you. When I need help, you'll go that extra mile to help me because you know I care about you and you care about me. And that's really all it is. And what happens nowadays is people don't give a shit about anybody else.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Because it's not always reciprocal. How do you say it?
Right. Yeah, it's not reciprocated.
Yeah, it's kind of hard.
Nailed it.
That's what she said. You're good. You're good. All right. So you were saying that a lot of people right now in these days don't give a shit.
Yeah, because it's all about me. I want to make sure that I live my dreams and my dreams come first. And you gotta, right? There's a part of you that has to make sure that you look out for you, because at the end of your life, it is your own body in that casket, nobody else's. So no one's going to carry your regret after you die. So there's a part of it that you got to take care of yourself. But damn it, if we don't take care of each other, the way that I believe that I change the world, the way we change the world, is we help everybody around us. If we do that,
Hashtag we are the world, we are the children.
hey.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as crazy and as soft and woo and all that, as much as that sounds, I'm not smart. I'm not Bill Gates. I'm not Elon Musk. I can't change the world that way. But if you take just a little bit of our interaction, and that changes who you are and how you are as a father, as a leader, as a husband, as a brother, whatever, that's us changing the world.
Exactly.
And that's the fastest way that small guys like us, because I'm not creating rockets to Mars, right? That's how we do it. And all it requires is
creating rockets to the heart.
Hashtag. It was a line with that cheese. Jesus Christ.
But hey, that's how we do it, right? And I think that's the quickest way for us to do that. And we laugh and we're joking right now because it feels really weird to say all that woo-woo soft shit.
Yeah.
You cannot say shit on my podcast.
Yeah. Let me say fuck.
Oh, shit.
Shit's a little bit frowned upon.
Oh, well, I didn't know I was. This is kind of company that I'm keeping.
People right.
Yeah, I mean, what you guys are doing here also is, in some ways, if you inspire someone, if the content that you provide changes how they were looking at something, that in and of itself is changing the world too.
Right.
Because we could be playing video games, Xboxes, and not giving a shit.
Mm-hmm.
And the world will continue to be the same way.
Exactly.
Yeah, because we talk about it on a party, I think.
Yeah.
That there's 3 ways to be transcended or to transcend.
Transcend? Yeah.
One is obviously having kids or having
Hijos? Okay.
Sí, pero ¿cómo se dice?
Children?
Yeah, but
Ankle biter.
family or pues sí, linaje.
Lineage, legacy. Yeah.
In a way, that is having kids. That's one way. The other one is religion. In a way that it's, with thinking that after you die, you're going to pass to another life.
Yeah.
And be immortal in a way. And the third one is writing a book or paint. And we talk about it that we're doing that in a way. We're doing a podcast that's art in a way,
Yeah.
or artistic. So in that way, we're going to transcend because until the internet exists, we're going to be there, right?
Right.
So and here we're doing this podcast, but the main person, the people who's going to inspire people is the guest.
It's pretty much the star guest. Yeah, that's why he always said. He's always been.
We were just a platform, right?
Exactly. He's always been very motivated to interact with people that are going to be in a way a lot smarter than us. They're not going to only teach the people that are here in the podcast, but us as well. And that's.
So why did you invite me? And this just
I
as an
don't know
example.
why. No, I'm just kidding.
As an example of what
He's always been so expressive about you that you've been such a great boss, such a good friend, and I can say why I don't have to defer because you really are. That being said, I think we're gonna go for a break. Cause I'm pissing like a racehorse right here, and I have 2 questions right here now. How's the way that you became a leader and the way that you look at foreign kids in America today versus the way you were before?
Oh, interesting.
All right.
Okay.
So we'll be right back.
All right.
Sí, es que don't yet. Sorry.
Yeah. Otra vez regresamos, ¿no?
Okay. We're gonna switch to English
To the
or
English.
whatever sounds like it.
Yeah.
So
So you have 2 questions.
yeah, I have 2 questions for you. Before we were prior to the break, we were talking about you not saw yourself as a leader.
Yeah.
You were pretty much forged as a leader. That being said, this is like the Lion King case where Simba wanted not to be.
Am I
a leader.
Rafiki?
No,
Do I get to be Rafiki? Simba.
Actually, there's a There's a porn movement where the guy comes and he grabs the semen. Simba. It's called The Lion King.
You can be Rafiki.
Hey, why don't you name yourself Rafiki? Hey man,
Can you
what else? So yeah, I mean, you saw yourself through your parents when the time came that you had to be a leader for not only your employees but the people around you. They see you as a leader.
Yeah.
That's very interesting for me because there's not much of inspiration when it comes to a guy watching his parents as a young age, with a very young age, and seeing their parents as not only leaders, mentors, idols, whatever you want to call it. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what possessed you for the energy to become a leader.
Well, so I'll tell you what happened. My parents were really tough on me. And it's old school Asian, no matter what you do, it's never good enough. You got an 80 on your exam, why didn't you get a 90? You got a 90, why didn't you get a 100, right? That type of stuff.
You get 155.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like, well, they're taking extra tests on the weekend and they're building rockets in their garage and that shit. But so, if I'm honest, the younger me wanted that fame. They wanted that reputation. I wanted people to look up to me. And it's maybe it's very common, but knowing what I know now, that is the shittiest, weakest reason to want to be in front of people.
Yeah.
Want to be, and I don't even want to say lead people, but it's really I want to stand up high and I want people to look up to me.
Yeah.
And it's for all the wrong reasons, right? It's all for my own ego, and it wasn't really until I got to 3DR that it was. When I really discovered that being a leader doesn't mean that you have followers. Being a leader means that you create other leaders. And to be able to create other leaders, you actually have to give a shit about people. You have to think about them. And we all know that we will do more for other people than we will for ourselves. And I found my tribe. I found my crew, mi gente, the reasons why. Because I never read so many books before joining 3DR. And why? Because I felt that that's what I needed to know, to share with the team so that we all grow together. I didn't grow until I really got to 3DR, most of our meetings wasn't even about work.
Mm-hmm.
It was about how do you look at life? How do we approach this problem? What is holding you back? And all that time that you and I spent on that made you a better employee that I didn't even have to ask you to commit at that level. You wanted to do that on your own.
Mm-hmm.
And seeing you grow and seeing you develop made me feel that I just needed to do more for you guys, for all of the team.
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe that's it, that we all need to find that one reason that pushes us to do more than what we thought we could.
All right, that's awesome. And actually, it comes with my second question, what actually you just said. Right now, our youngest generations that are, for lack of a better word, a little bit of whiners.
Yeah.
Just a hard day's work, or it's like they're just posting on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok that they're fucking dying because they had to work 5 hours. God forbid they sweat a little bit.
Yeah.
Because they're gonna be, prohibiting whatever conduct that their boss are doing against them.
Yeah.
You opened up a gateway, a door, where a lot of a gateway. You opened a door.
It's
Well,
the
your
back
parents
door.
actually opened that door that they suffered through
Mhm.
3 days over the sea.
Yeah.
Being 2 years in a country that didn't give, they gave a shit, but the minimum amount of shit.
Yeah.
And you came to a country that a lot of people, in such ways, that you and I in Oviedo despised you. Because they despised us. They hated a lot of people that are not from their ethnicity, right?
Right.
So you pretty much went through that storm with your family. And right now, it opened up a new life, a new generation that's easy for them.
Yeah.
Because here's the results of my work, the results of my suffering, not suffering, but my sacrifice. Here's the results, and go ahead, live your life the easiest way that I couldn't, right?
Right.
You know, I'm talking about your childhood, your teenage years, and your adulthood, right? So we're seeing a lot of generations, younger generations right now, they're not willing to suffer. How do you see them right now? What type of conduct? Not a father-son relationship, not a buddy system, but how do you see them right now? How do you treat them right now? What advice would you give them? What a mentor would you be for them?
Yeah.
So they can know that life is not only roses and rainbows. It's kind of fucking hard sometimes, you know.
I think you said it. You hit the nail right on the head. Is that I think people nowadays expect that life should be easier than what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And that maybe they have somewhere along the way that it shouldn't be this tough. Like, I shouldn't have to struggle this hard.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling you guys, and you guys are nodding because I don't need to tell you guys, we know that life is hard. And my parents told me life is tough.
Yeah.
Right? And you do the best you can, and you're supposed to fight. You're supposed to grow stronger. You're supposed to get knocked
You're
down.
supposed to suffer, right?
Yeah. And they were the first persons to do that. Hey, you're not good enough, right?
So okay.
You're stupid. Like, look at your cousin. Why can't you beat your cousin? And it was like, and I get it. Yeah. It didn't feel that good, right? And it sucked hearing that I wasn't this magical child that they wanted, and I was born and all the angels were singing, "Aw." No, right? Mm-hmm. But it made me want more. It made me not be afraid of hard work, and it made me get up because when I got knocked down, to get up. And if I didn't do good, somebody was out there doing better than me. Mm-hmm. And you know, that's a survival thing. Right? You got to get what you need to get. You got to be the best you can and get what you can. And if you didn't do your best, you're not going to get the best. You don't deserve anything. You earn it. Mm-hmm. And sometimes even if you do your best, you still don't get it. But you don't quit. Mm-hmm. I remember one of the talks that we had about leadership. And I said that if you want to be a leader, that means that you're asking for hardship. You're asking for stress. And companies will pay you based upon the amount of stress that you can handle and protect those beneath you, right? So if you have these big dreams, realize that you're asking for hardship. And I think that's the message that doesn't get passed on today. Well, I got yelled at. Good. Mm-hmm. Did you grow from it? I failed. Good. Did you learn from that? You're supposed to fail. You're supposed to struggle. Nature made the cocoon really fucking hard for the caterpillar to get out. Yeah. And the crazy thing is, if you help the caterpillar get out of that cocoon, it will die because it didn't build the strength that it needed to fly. Mm-hmm. And I think we're so used to helping everybody else out of their own struggle that they never build the emotional, mental strength to survive.
Yeah, exactly. Because there's a big difference, like the Bible says, there's a difference between giving a man a fish and teaching him how to fish.
Right.
And he will eat for one day and he will eat for the rest of his life. Mm-hmm. That's the difference, right? Because we're not talking about, you can help out somebody, but not making his life easier or just making him useless.
Right.
We're talking about just stretching an arm, just helping him out and help the body out. Yeah. That's pretty much it. And after that, you're on your own.
And talking about religion, there's reasons why God didn't put a fish on every single hook. When you throw your hook into the water, he didn't give you a fish right away. He made you work for it, right? He or she made you work for it. You had to try. You have to build you. And I think that's the big difference. And I have 2 girls, and I teach them that I will do everything that I can to shield you from the pain, but I need to teach you the lesson. And part of that lesson is life's not fair. Mm-hmm. And you gotta struggle and you gotta fight. And it's a delicate balance. It really is. I don't know. Have you guys experienced stuff like that too?
I think everybody has right here in Mexico. I mean, you're subject to. You're pretty much the guinea pig from God. You're gonna suffer.
Experiments, yeah.
You're gonna suffer the age of being homeless, the age of starting to. I mean, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but to make a point.
Yeah, but if God said if the Mexican could do it, everyone else could do it.
Yeah. ¿Tú qué le ibas a preguntar?
Oh yeah, so on the same topic or kind of what's the difference between working with Americans and with Mexicans?
Like, I think that what everybody wants is a chance, right? Give me an opportunity to show you what I can do. I think the difference is because, I had the pleasure of working with the team here in Tijuana. I also have the pleasure with working with our team in Berkeley. And there is no difference in desire. There's no difference in that drive. I think what the difference is the expectation of what should be given to me versus what really is given to me. Right? And that was it was a refreshing contrast because I had worked in the US for the majority of my life. And then working with the team here, I felt very close to this team because it was, okay, we have this opportunity and there's not a lot of roses around it and it's not that pretty, but if we achieve it, we can really do something really big. Versus the other team where, okay, the challenge is there. Everyone's looking for inspiration and everyone's looking for an opportunity, but it is that, okay, we'll on the US side, it was, we'll really try for it, but I expect this, and this to go along with it. Whereas the team here was like, we don't expect anything. Let's just fucking do it. Let's see if we can fucking do it.
You just fucking riff, right?
Yeah, and both teams were amazingly skilled, but it is that last couple of inches that wins the game, right? It is that crawling, that fighting, that if we don't do this now, that opportunity won't come again. That's the difference. Whereas and it's part of living in the U.S. is that, okay, we don't do this here, I can get another job here and I can do it again. Yeah. And I have this other opportunity again and again and again. And it was really refreshing for me to see that, to be a part of that, and to fight alongside with you guys.
That's a pretty fresh perspective coming from a person that comes not from this continent. You have three perspectives, right? The one that you're from, the one that you landed to, and the one that you're working with.
Yeah.
So there's three type of cultures that you have in yourself, and you have that's a very fucking good plate, if you ask me, full of really really rich ingredients.
I'll give you a little perspective of the Vietnamese side. Vietnamese people, a lot of times we're haters with ourselves. Okay. With amongst our own people, because we have this thing where we're all fighters. We, at least the folks that I know, right? And so if you do something, it's like, I could do that too. You're not that special, right? And that's how I was growing up. Oh well, so and so did this. It's not that hard to be a doctor. I just don't want to be a doctor.
Are you sure you're not Mexican?
And I was always hating
I can
on
do it
people,
tomorrow.
right? I was always hating on people because nothing ever seemed that amazing. Now, of course, we don't have a Vietnamese Elon Musk. I think if there was, then it'd be like, okay, maybe I can't do that. But for the majority of it, it was, we never gave anyone their proper due. And it wasn't like, dude, my hat's off to you. You guys launched this podcast. You guys got this following and you're getting great production and all this. the old me would have been, man, how hard could it be? It's not that hard.
Yeah, that
Right?
I can do that, but I don't want to kind of mentality.
Yeah. So I have that. Then I have the American side, and then I have the just relentless fighting that my parents made me do.
Mm-hmm.
And I hated that when I was growing up, but it's like a lot of things where you grow up and you're like, man, I'm glad that happened. Right? Because without that, I wouldn't be here. So, yeah.
So what happens after? What happens to who after that? I mean, did you conquer the world, and did you dedicate yourself to complicate yourself a little bit and get married, or was that before? I wanted to know. There's two types of. There's two parts of your life, right? The one that the thrive, the fight. I think, to my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong. You did that by yourself before knowing the family that you have, before having the family that you have.
Yeah.
And once you got that, because. I mean, none of us are married right here except this guy right here, and it's pretty
lucky.
Fucking, yeah, it's
I mean, yeah.
I mean, it's pretty fucking complicated. What's the difference between being a family guy after all this fighting, all this struggling, all this success?
Yeah, before you answer that, actually you told me an analogy on when we were working together. There's two types of guys: the Dragon Slayer and the one who wants the castle and the princess right
Yes.
away, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That actually that was how I was going to answer your question, right?
Boo!
So you weren't drunk all the time. Like, you know, in a man, there's my belief is there's two type of men when it comes to marriage and finding their partner. One type of man has to build his kingdom and his castle, and once that is done, then he's like, okay, I'm ready to find my queen.
Okay.
But he has to, and we all know these men where I'm not ready yet. I still have things to do. I still have dragons to slay, right?
Yeah.
I have to be ready when I marry my queen. I want to have a castle. I want to have a kingdom. That's one type of man. The other type of man is looking for a partner to build the kingdom with, right?
Yeah.
I find the right woman, and together we will build that. And I shared this with you, and I share this pretty often to both men and women, because it can be the right guy, the wrong time. Because if he is a kingdom builder and he doesn't have his castle yet, doesn't matter what that woman's going to do, he's not going to be ready, right? Because he feels that he is insufficient, right? So you got to know who you are, and that's, with me, I was definitely I need my castle first.
Okay.
Right? I didn't know that's what it was called, but it was always, I'm too busy for you. Nope, I don't have time for that. If you want to hang out, we can hang out.
There's still dragons to kill.
Yeah. You know, I have dragons I have to slay. I have accomplishments that I need to do so that I can feel good enough to be worthy of a family, a queen, to be worthy enough to be a leader within my own family, to guide my children and all that.
And that's pretty. I mean, that's a mistake that very often we men, make, because we don't want to lose that queen that we found a little bit too early.
Yeah.
What happened when the opportunity came that you found your queen a little bit too early, and you said, you know what, not right now. I'm trying to conquer my world, trying to build my castle, and make sure it's not built. It's now.
Oh man, I wish I was that smart back then, but I probably came off to all those other women's like a lot of men, is too busy, don't care. Oh, she always felt, all of the women that I dated before my wife always felt like they're number 2, number 3. Oh, I come second after your job, after your family, after your family business and all of that, after your friends and your hobbies and you learning this and doing this, and I'm like, oh, okay, but I'm not ready to get married, so you know, I cannot put you above my family because we're not that close yet. Like, we're not at that level.
Okay.
And it wasn't until I was ready and I felt like I had accomplished at least an empty castle. so now I can find a queen to put in it, and then we fill it together. I met my wife. We dated for 6 months, and then we got engaged. It was very, very fast.
Because you were ready.
Because she proposed 6 months in. I couldn't say no, but I was ready to say yes.
Oh, well. Yeah.
She did propose, and I had to give it to her, but I was ready. I told her that I knew that I loved her a month into dating. Like I knew that already.
Is that a switch from changing a USB from another? That this is Vu leaving the warrior life, the dragon slayer, to conquering the kingdom and being the crown keeper.
I wish it was that clear cut, but it was more of I woke up one day and I'm ready.
Okay.
It wasn't a whole lot of thinking. It wasn't like check.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of things. It's like when I wake up and I want a taco. I know I want it. I didn't have it before. But, all joking aside, it really was about timing. And this podcast isn't about relationships, but I think relationships is all about timing. The right person, wrong time, still wrong person.
The thing is, I was curious to ask because every time that we talk about relationship, we talk about romance, we talk about love, we talk about partnership, everything. I want to make sure that this is a universal language that everybody speaks.
Yes.
Doesn't even matter if you come from Asia, from Europe, from Africa, from America, from the United States, from Mexico. Yeah. We're talking about, and that advice that you, because I'm taking this as advice. First, you have to be the dragon slayer before you can be the king, and after you are the king, find your queen. And I think that's the smartest protocol that a guy can take, or a woman can take as well, because she can find her king as well. She's not standing there waiting for a king.
If that's who you are, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Now, the next question that I had for you is, how do you see yourself right now? Do you want to? Because you worked with in Tijuana. Not only in Tijuana, did you work somewhere else in Mexico, or just Tijuana?
Only Tijuana.
And how is your palate? Do you want to stay here? Do you want to work somewhere else? Do you have interest in engaging in something else right now?
Like in another country?
Another country, another profession, another...
That's a really great question. I think I'm at the point in my life where most of the dragons have been slayed, and now it's about legacy. It's about what do I do, not for myself, but for other people. And as crazy and as cheesy as that sounds, because I have other people to think about. How do I prepare my daughters for the world that I have no idea what it's going to be like in 10 years? Like sometimes I think about my parents. There's no way they knew to teach me about sexting and all the stuff that's happening because the technology didn't happen. And so in 10, 15 years, how do I prepare my girls for virtual sex, for virtual whatever that is, right? I have no idea. But if I believe that if I train them in the right values on how to think and how to appreciate themselves, value themselves, I think that's my best shot. But now it's about whatever I do next. It's about what is the greatest amount of good that I can do in my little sphere of my little ability, my little world. Mm-hmm. I'm not Elon Musk. I can't change the entire world, but maybe can change those around me, the people that I work with. I can give them a better life. I can train and teach them better, pass on my knowledge, pass on my lessons. There's a great saying, I think if it wasn't said by Bruce Lee, someone fucked up the meme on Facebook, but don't give your kids what you didn't have, teach them what you didn't know.
Okay, yeah, that was Bruce Lee. Yes.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I want to do.
Be like water.
Teach how to be like water.
Be like beer.
Exactly.
So,
yeah. Okay.
So we almost done here. You need to take a
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, don't worry. But it was. I think the second take was better. So thank you. Yeah, thank you for that. I don't know if you wanna to make a conclusion on how do you felt here.
Like Sure. So I mean, again, I appreciate you guys inviting me here. I think it's I'm really honored. And I said I wouldn't talk about this, but I'm just going to throw this out here because I think with the pandemic, with COVID, with all the craziness that's happened in the last 18 months, we're all trying to find stability. We're all trying to find how we can live. And I told you that if we had time, I'd like to talk about harmony and balance and the difference between the two. And one of the lessons that I've learned is that balance is bullshit. Balance is so hard, but we're all trying to find it. Work-life balance between husband and wife duties, men and women, equality and all that. Mm-hmm. Nature doesn't work in balance. Nature works in harmony, because balance requires you effort to keep it level. Yeah. One pushes up, the other pushes down. So if you want balance, you have to push up to this one goes down, and you can never rest. Harmony is understanding that there is asymmetrics, lopsidedness. For instance, men and women. Right? We hear that they want to be equal, but equality requires a lot of work and it's tiring. Women can give birth, men can never give birth. Mm-hmm. There is no balance there.
Exactly.
Right? So all we can do is find harmony. Men are physically stronger, our bones are denser, muscle fibers are larger. There's no equality there. If we try to find balance, we will never find balance. Accept that there is imbalance and be good with it.
Yeah,
so, right. Husband and wives, you do this and I'll do this. Sometimes I don't do this even though I say it, but that's okay because the harmony in the household. Strive for harmony and not balance. It's actually much easier.
Fuck.
Thank you, Asian wise man.
Jackie Lee, yeah. Bruce Chan, remember the name.
I don't know if you want to say...
I just want to say thank you for this episode. It was really enlightening for me. And it's an episode that separates from the rest because, first of all, we've spoken in English. Second of all, because this is the first first podcast that we talked about
sex.
The origin of somebody coming into this and making it his own. And that's pretty fucking awesome to me. A lot of people are going to be here and watching this episode. They should. Because I think it's going to be very inspiring. So, thank you very much. No sé si quieres decir algo.
Yeah, just thank you. And I'm be grateful that you're here. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to hear you. Not hurt, hear you, sorry.
So, you can hurt me if you like.
I know you like that bitch. Sorry, that's the only words that I have. I learn and have in my vocabulary. So, before that we finish, Carlos va a decir una última cosa, tu aportación geográfica, por favor.
Sí, Oaxaca tiene 570 municipios.
Ok, perfecto.
Lo mejor que puede existir en el mundo, Oaxaca.
Ok, perfecto. Esto va a ser un rolling gag. Entonces, muchas gracias por eso.
Pensé que se había olvidado, culero.
No, fuck you. We're gonna finish.
As always,
We're gonna
finish. Don't we always? Cheers, drink, and stop.
Rayo. Acabó este güey. See you.
Cheers and stop.
Y justo a tiempo.
Oximorrones, gracias por habernos escuchado. Espero les haya gustado y no olviden suscribirse a nuestro canal y también dejen sus comentarios.
Síganos en todas nuestras redes sociales. No olviden darle like al video y activar la campanita.
¡Al rayo!